Watching your whole marriage end through leaked videos. Nah, she don't deserve this. Read the grainy screenshot of Rasheeda sobbing during a phone call that one of her store partners shared online. The next morning, a second shock posted a screenshot of the initial wedding planner's invoice, along with an anonymous Instagram account identified at VH1 at Rasheeda and Mona Scott Young. Signed, dated, and fully paid using a card. Kirk booked it a month before informing Rasheeda he was working on himself, according to the caption on his business card, 17. Rasheeda was scheduling treatment, and that man was scheduling flowers. SMH. Suddenly, everything began to fall apart. The backstage staff verified that Kirk requested a 1-week postponement of filming in June due to personal and family matters. The wedding invoice date was precisely the same week. Everybody had inquiries. How did Jasmine manage to remain silent? Was this all part of a hip-hop and romance plot? Was production aware of it? And if so, why wasn't Rasheeda warned at I Am Carliard? Carliard fueled the flames by going live while drinking wine and screaming, I told y'all that man ain't right. And Jasmine, baby, that smile doesn't mean you're safe because when Rasheeda really moves, she'll move in silence. At the same time, Rasheeda's manager shared a single boomerang on her Instagram account. Sunglasses, her trademark all-black blazer ensemble, and the statement, "Today we reclaim everything." On the same day, legal documents were submitted to have the Frost surname taken off of all of her enterprises, including her podcast network, online stores, and beauty contracts. When Charlene's live stream was reposted by the Shade Room, Jasmine attempted to respond with a clever remark. The fans wouldn't have it. Tell Mama to worry about her own vows, not mine. Rasheeda's mother is being brought into this by you. Legally. You aren't even his married yet. Despite the discomfort, she managed to get a post. Since the leak, Kirk most likely hasn't been home, and things just grew worse for him. An audio message that purportedly came from a group conversation between Jasmine and one of her pals was discovered. Put a dot in it. Honestly, once we did the vows, I knew he'd have to choose. Jasmine is heard remarking while chuckling. Rasheeda, there's no turning back now. You're gone for good. Once more, going viral. Jasmine organized it. People began to wonder what she was up to. Was the whole thing rigged up to guarantee a plot? Did Kirk voluntarily put his wife under the bus with flower arrangements and lyrical vows, or was he duped? At the same time, ATL wasn't finished at Charlene. She shared a picture of herself during dinner with Rasheeda. Rasheeda had a good stance despite her swollen eyelids. I raised a queen, not a doormat. And we don't mourn clowns. We laugh and level up, was the caption. And that post alone had more interaction than Jasmine's whole Instagram account in a single day. In a narrative twist that no one anticipated, Yandi then plunged in. This ain't just betrayal, she said as she uploaded Shireen's livestream. Hip-hop and love were never meant to be this way. This is a PR gimmick gone too far. And guess who retweeted it with an eye roll? Jasmine. The production has now declared an urgent reunion reshoot, guaranteeing a sit-down with Jasmine, Kirk, Charlene, and Rasheeda in the same room. It has already been dubbed the Frost funeral episode by fans. The declaration of the reshoot of the emergency reunion was like a sledgehammer. The fans were stunned at what was being placed. Although scandals have occurred in Love and Hip Hop Atlanta before, this was the most well-publicized, unvarnished, and degrading collapse ever seen on film. The anticipation was heightened by the fact that Rasheeda had not spoken a word, yet there was no doubt that she would arrive. When her stylist shared a subdued boomerang of Rasheeda getting her cosmetics done, it was verified. This look isn't for TV, it's for war, the caption said. Jasmine was on full damage control while Dar Justice at Charleneal shared it with the caption, "She ready." She shared a rotating collection of pictures of babies with bumps, romantic music, pastel filters, and several phony tranquility. Life is full of changes, but love always wins, was her caption. However, the responses weren't amenable to it. Love lost. Lies were told. There's no turning back now. You're posting bump photos like you're not holding Rasheeda's karma, Jasmine remarked in the voice note leak that you included. Yes, but Jasmine resisted. Y'all acting like I planned this. I didn't force him to say those vows. Kirk meant every word, she remarked on live with her cousin. Carly Red immediately jumped into the comments, saying, Real messy, not real love. And to be honest, I won't apologize for a love that was real. Then came the day of the reunion. NDAs were signed, security was doubled, and the cast was dragged. One by one, yet you could use a knife backstage to ease tension. Kay Walls attempted to lighten the mood, but no one was laughing. Rasheeda hadn't come yet, and Jasmine was already in the dressing room practicing her lines while Kirk was pacing. Loudest thing in the room until the doors opened, and her face spoke for itself as she entered slowly, wearing all-black statement earrings and sunglasses that she refused to take off. Producers raced because she wasn't interested in negotiating. She came to end the ice chapter with fire, and immediately behind her at Charlene ATL. She wasn't scheduled or micked, but she was there because she wouldn't let her daughter stay in that room by herself again. Charlene waved him away as he attempted to accompany her out, saying, "I'm not talking, I'm watching." The host attempted to ease in. "Kirk, there are no contracts on motherhood." The taping started. The past several weeks have been hectic. Jasmine. Leaked video has surfaced, and there have been reactions. Let's begin with the main question. What was the purpose of those wedding vows? Kirk looked down. Jasmine. A silent dot. We wanted solitude. It was a moment for us. She leaned forward and cleared her throat. The vows weren't meant to be seen, but what was spoken was genuine. Rasheeda, you haven't said anything. How did you feel when you watched the video? The host said. The room was silent. Jasmine blinked. Rasheeda carefully took off her spectacles and stared directly at Kirk. I felt liberated. The host continued. Free from the illusion. Kirk's eyes changed. Free from hoping he'd become the man I needed, Rasheeda remarked. That was the last response since I was still married when I witnessed him say such things to another lady. I've never had him. He has always been a part of the moment that gave him a sense of strength. The live stream's viewers were going crazy. Some phones' screens froze because the comments were coming in so quickly. I've never heard this show's hardest line before. I simply tossed my phone when she claimed he belonged to the moment. Tossed my phone just now. Jasmine remained silent. She was lip-tight, looking at the floor. At last, Kirk said something. I had no intention of hurting you. But Rasheeda said, you did. Not only during the wedding either. With each falsehood, you forced me to bear. I had to pretend everything was okay in every scene we shot, even while you were out here creating a second family. You want to pretend that this was an accident now. Jasmine raised her head. He wasn't stolen by me. Rasheeda shifted her entire body in the direction of her. You were not required to. He exposed himself, individually, and you were content to grab what's left over. Shocks. There was silence among the spectators. Not even the crew moved. To preserve face, the host interrupted. Would you like to say anything to Rasheeda, Jasmine? Woman to woman. Jasmine took a deep breath. I came here to do you no harm. Kirk made a decision, which is why I came here. He chose to treat me disrespectfully. Rasheeda stepped in. And you made it possible? You stood there grinning while you saw him deceive, cheat, and manipulate. Now don't pretend to be innocent. Then Charlene got to her feet, still unmissed and off camera, but she was unable to remain silent any longer. Baby, you don't have to say anything else. To Rasheeda, she said. For years he ridiculed you on television. He now wants to pretend. That love forced him to do it. No, it was desire. Ego did. And you too can now sit in the bed you made. Everybody froze. Jasmine's complexion turned pallid. Kirk remained still. The manufacturers made an effort to reduce the feed. Rasheeda rose up as well, but the host murmured, Let's take a break. Not necessary. I'm finished. She gave Kirk a final glance. You'll always be the guy who thought love was the same as attention. She picked up her handbag and left. Despite the cameras following, she didn't turn around. As simple as that. Her last scene didn't finish with, some vows don't need to be broken, just forgotten. Closure. Team Rhea began trending once more at Kirk Frost's site when she shared a picture of herself and her mother holding hands backstage. Jasmine wrote a cryptic remark without saying anything. People get resentful when they are in pain. Nah, pain makes people strong, but causing pain makes you disposable, someone said in response. A video shows Rasheeda leaving within an hour. The reunion went viral. Her last words, "I can't record by every relationship podcasts across our social media," were screen captured, remixed, stitched on TikTok, and transformed into reality with each stitch. You'll always be the man who confused attention with love. As she was being roasted, the camera captured her looking stunned and motionless as Rasheeda and Charlene ATL walked away like queens. She then tried to clap back with a blurry Instagram story of her ring and baby bump, captioned, "Still winning backfired hard." The media at the Shade Room posted it with the caption, "Swoo sis walked away from a marriage and left the mic smoking hot team Rasheeda Jasmine." Winning precisely. "Congratulations on inheriting 20 years of debt and lies," one commentator said. "The ring is yours. She was granted freedom. Have fun getting trapped." The comments kept coming in, and Jasmine began to falter and gave a live demonstration. The Instagram site for her new clothing line went dormant, and one of her stylists even shared a tale on social media with the caption, "You guys think she's glowing?" Backstage, Sis had been sobbing for days. The figures were harsh, and Rasheeda was not only regaining her money, but also her authority when it was revealed that she had formally used the adultery provision in her prenuptial agreement with Kirk. And woo. The real kicker is that leaked court documents revealed that Rasheeda was entitled to 100% of their joint real estate, 70% of Frostbros' income, and 100% of all license agreements executed in her name. Technically, however, Rasheeda's at Carly Reed reposted that headline and added, "So Sis got married in another woman's home. She would receive retroactive ownership of any property Kirk bought during the marriage using joint funds, which allegedly included the exact house Kirk and Jasmine got married in. Home. How TL doubled in on romance at Bambi. She is a renter, not a wife." Kirk, meantime, was quietly collapsing. He had entirely disappeared from social media, with no new postings, no comments, and no club appearances. According to insiders, he had been staying in a short-term rental outside of Dakar and hardly ever returned calls, not even from his children. The scenario revealed purported screenshots of Kirk texting one of Rasheeda's relatives, pleading for assistance in re-establishing contact, but the internet doesn't wait for healing. "I never intended this to become this bad. I was lost. She isn't responding. Please talk to her." The cousin said, "It is alleged that the day you stood in front of that girl and declared her to be your true love, you erased yourself. Tell her I'll sign anything, but don't let her erase me from her life." There is no way to return from that. Fans reacted quickly. 4. Imagine openly pleading for access to a lady you tossed away. She is no longer furious and is unconcerned, which is why men should be afraid of women who recover. However, there was an unexpected turn of events. My daughter gave that man everything, and when it came time for him to show her respect, he gave it to someone else. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern, and we don't bargain with patterns. Charlene Yaddle, who had been posting subtly disparaging remarks and motherly warnings, went live once more, but this time she wasn't shouting or upset. Instead, she was calm. Charlene deserves a red table talk by herself. Someone should put this woman on Netflix right away. That's okay, it's viral. We don't bargain with trends. Rasheeda uploaded the video on her page with only a white heart emoji as a description, but Jasmine wasn't finished playing. The following morning, she shared a carousel with soft-lit pictures of Kirk kissing her tummy, carrying a graphic phrase that said, "A good woman is never left by a man. He departs in search of the woman who gives him joy." She didn't say much. Her preferences were concealed. Fans nevertheless managed to get in. Kirk feels good about the tape you included of him stating that Rasheeda was the strongest lady he had ever met, aka the person who allows him to deceive without taking responsibility. You cannot pretend to be a wife when he is still a husband. And the last bit of this catastrophe leaked just as Jasmine was trying to recover her story. Kirk's whole vows during his wedding. The PDF was written in black and white, typed, dated, and, worst of all, The original date coincided with the week Rasheeda had brought him to couples counseling. He sobbed on TV over restoring trust that same week. Fans were taken aback. Dow? You mean to tell me that this man wrote vows for his side girl while he was in therapy? This hip-hop and love aren't the season. Rasheeda remained silent during this bet-uncut emotional trauma episode, but her deeds spoke louder than ever. She gently introduced the self-care, wellness, beauty, and fashion line Rasheeda. Rethink, rebuild, reclaim is the slogan. Fans attended to her press conference with Ida Sense, where she stated, "Sometimes closure ain't an apology. It's a new bag. Untamed. She made strength out of her suffering. You may turn a heartache into an empire in this way." Jasmine is uploading pictures of her belly and asking for a Frost Bistro eating plan in the meantime. SMH. Additionally, legal experts warn that Kirk may lose nearly everything now that the prenuptial agreement is officially in place. During a deposition, Jasmine allegedly broke down in tears. According to reports, Rasheeda entered wearing Dior and drinking green juice. The entire courtroom was aware of the winner. Jasmine entered Fulton County Family Court that morning. She had lost her spark. The white dress was gone. The soft filter was gone. The smugness she wore when Kirk's vows were publicized was gone. All of that. All that was left was an enormous sweatshirt, a bloated face, and the expression of a woman who saw that the illusion was unraveling, because love wasn't the topic of today. The topic of today was assets. And none of them belonged to Jasmine, which was bad. Arriving half an hour late, accompanied by her lawyer and 2 aides, Rhea appeared unconcerned. Black leather gloves, a long trench coat, and a slicked-back hairstyle. Her vitality indestructible. The corridor was filled with whispers. She resembled Olivia Pope quite a little. Kirk will not return from this. When Kirk eventually arrived, he was unshaven, had swollen eyes, was gray, and lacked jewelry. The man who used to strut on LHA stages suddenly seems incapable of strutting out of a simple rental arrangement, because this is what fans were unaware of. Rasheeda's legal team got to work once she activated the prenuptial agreement's infidelity provision. And what did they find? Prior to the wedding, Kirk had started transferring funds to a different joint account with Jasmine. That account frozen. Jasmine had been remodeling the wedding house. In Rasheeda's name, it is bound. Following the baby shower, Kirk gave her the automobile. Couldn't resist leasing under Frostbro LLC at Charlie Needle. That following morning, she shared a meme. She believed she had married a monarch. Sis. Got married. A drawback. Inside the courtroom is Dark Justice Rasheeda. Even before her name was announced, Jasmine started crying. Kirk was told to remain seated. Rasheeda didn't even look at him as her lawyer presented the proof of the covert transactions. Undocumented filmmaking profits from a vlog that Kirk and Jasmine recorded, and backdated checks. In private, Jasmine's face just fell apart. She once confessed in a whisper to her lawyer, "I didn't know." He replied, "We were okay, but it didn't." Matter since Rasheeda's team presented screenshots from Jasmine's close friend's Instagram story, email threads, receipts, and time-stamped bank activity. The court didn't even bat an eyelid, and by lunchtime, Rasheeda had been granted complete creative rights to all Frost-branded content. Kirk was in her kitchen counting money. When the gavel struck, Jasmine looked devastated. Kirk just gazed at the floor, and the first claim on their shared house back payments Kirk owing from delinquent taxes filed jointly with a courtroom was silent. Rasheeda and Dot. She grinned. She didn't scream or weep. She won. She didn't drag. Reed was waiting outside with cameras at Carly. We would want to express our gratitude to Rasheeda, who entered that courtroom and walked out with an empire. She is more than simply a business magnate. She is a fighter. Jasmine thought she had a spouse when she stepped in, but Sis exited feeling sick, and Twitter went crazy because she married a man who was still in another woman's bank account. Someone should give Kirk some humble pie now that justice has been served. Kirk attempted to speak late, just when everyone thought it was over. I damaged people I loved. He broadcast a 2-minute Instagram live video that night with only his voice. Low, sluggish, and breaking, without any filters or background music. It's preoccupied with attempting to mend something that was damaged in me. Rasheeda is the villain, not Jasmine. Kirk Frost hoped no one would notice. He believed he could stand before Jasmine Washington, make tender promises, make a lifelong commitment, and keep it all a secret. The internet, however, never sleeps. Additionally, his wedding vows were revealed, in private, each and every syllable. And his words in those vows simply tore the world of hip-hop and love in two. Kirk not only acknowledged that he had loved while Rasheeda was out here defending his name for more than 10 years, Jasmine remained silent for years, yet he claimed she was his true choice. Rasheeda's mother at Charlene ATL went live as soon as she watched the video, as if that wasn't enough. And the culture was rocked by what she said on that stream. Cheating is no longer the only issue here. This is about a mother's anger that has been building for years, betrayal, and legacy. Darn Kirk Frost, Jasmine Washington, Rasheeda LHATL. Controversy that went viral. The video wasn't meant to be there. Kirk informed everyone as much. That's what Jasmine vowed to do. Not even a videographer was employed by Tweed. 2 weeks ago, she claimed in her account that it was just the two of us and private. However, the falsehood has finally been exposed since a whole 5-minute video clip was leaked yesterday night by an unknown source. From the covert backyard wedding of Kirk and Jasmine, and the entire Frost legacy has been blown to shreds by what was heard on that recording. The angle of the camera was unsteady. Kirk's speech was really clear, however the sound was a little muted. Furthermore, I should never have made you feel secretive with my comments. When everything else was in disarray, you were my calm. I've been silently loving you for years, Jasmine. But I've decided to publicly adore you today, no longer hiding. My second choice isn't you. My true love is you. They weren't only promises. Rasheeda, his wife of more than 2 decades and the mother of his children, was specifically targeted by that. It's the lady who supported him during controversies involving infidelity, national humiliation, and hidden babies. Twitter blew up within minutes of the video going viral. The hashtag #KirkFrost became viral right away. The vows were transcribed on fan pages. The makers of TikTok performed dramatic voiceovers and shared them with the caption NH at the neighborhood chat. While still married to Rasheeda, Kirk claimed that Jasmine was his true love. However, there were other things on fire than the internet. Within an hour, Rasheeda's mother went live on Instagram at Charlene ATL. Just her phone, and 100,000 irate followers who are ready for smoke. No glitz, no warning, she also delivered. Do you intend to tell me? In front of God and Georgia, this bald-headed idiot informed that girl she was the one while standing there in a rented tuxedo. No matter how nice her lace front looked, baby, I don't care. No lady is worth you discarding a whole family in this manner. It was pure fuel. Fans were yelling in the comments. Talk about the yacht, auntie. Shireen needs a show of her own because the energy is this. Then Charlene revealed the secret. It's been too long since I spoke. Let me tell you something, though. Since the previous season, Kirk has been organizing this wedding. Jasmine was aware. Don't be duped by her. Been grinning in Rasheeda's face while she was having a dress adjusted in the background. Just that clip earned 7 points, 4 hours with 3 amateur views. However, Rasheeda said nothing. No reports, no tweets, no public declaration. However, her inner circle began to speak. Watching your whole marriage end through leaked videos? Nah, she don't deserve this. Read the grainy screenshot of Rasheeda sobbing during a phone call that one of her store partners shared online. The next morning, a second shock posted a screenshot of the initial wedding planner's invoice, along with an anonymous Instagram account identified at VH1 at Rasheeda and Mona Scott Young. Signed, dated, and fully paid using a card. Kirk booked it a month before informing Rasheeda he was working on himself, according to the caption on his business card, 17. Rasheeda was scheduling treatment, and that man was SMH. Suddenly, everything began to fall apart. The back that Kirk requested a 1-week postponement of filming in June due to matters. The wedding invoice date was precisely the same week. Everybody had inquiries. How did Jasmine manage to remain silent? Was this all part of a hip-hop and romance plot? Was production aware of it? And if so, why wasn't Rasheeda warned at I Am Carliard? Carliard fueled the flames by going live while drinking wine and screaming, I told y'all that man ain't right. And Jasmine, baby, that smile doesn't mean you're safe because when Rasheeda really moves, she'll move in silence. At the same time, Rasheeda's manager shared a single boomerang on her Instagram account. Sunglasses, her trademark all-black blazer ensemble, and the statement, "Today we reclaim everything." On the same day, legal documents were submitted to have the Frost surname taken off of all of her enterprises, including her podcast network, online stores, and beauty contracts. When Charlene's live stream was reposted by the Shade Room, Jasmine attempted to respond with a clever remark. The fans wouldn't have it. Tell Mama to worry about her own vows, not mine. Rasheeda's mother is being brought into this by you. Legally. You aren't even his married yet. Despite the discomfort, she managed to get a post. Since the leak, Kirk most likely hasn't been home, and things just grew worse for him. An audio message that purportedly came from a group conversation between Jasmine and one of her pals was discovered. Put a dot in it. Honestly, once we did the vows, I knew he'd have to choose. Jasmine is heard remarking while chuckling. Rasheeda, there's no turning back now. You're gone for good. Once more, going viral. Jasmine organized it. People began to wonder what she was up to. Was the whole thing rigged up to guarantee a plot? Did Kirk voluntarily put his wife under the bus with flower arrangements and lyrical vows, or was he duped? At the same time, ATL wasn't finished at Charlene. She shared a picture of herself during dinner with Rasheeda. Rasheeda had a good stance despite her swollen eyelids. I raised a queen, not a doormat. And we don't mourn clowns. We laugh and level up, was the caption. And that post alone had more interaction than Jasmine's whole Instagram account in a single day. In a narrative twist that no one anticipated, Yandi then plunged in. This ain't just betrayal, she said as she uploaded Shireen's livestream. Hip-hop and love were never meant to be this way. This is a PR gimmick gone too far. And guess who retweeted it with an eye roll? Jasmine. The production has now declared an urgent reunion reshoot, guaranteeing a sit-down with Jasmine, Kirk, Charlene, and Rasheeda in the same room. It has already been dubbed the Frost funeral episode by fans. The declaration of the reshoot of the emergency reunion was like a sledgehammer. The fans were stunned at what was being placed. Although scandals have occurred in Love and Hip, Hop Atlanta